Hi, Shiri. How are you?
Hi, Tovit. Good to be back.
Yeah, it's our fifth episode. Thanks for joining us again. I want to talk about something which is totally controversial, but in the framework of something that you just must see. It's a new film led by Jonah Hill, who created it. It's called You People. It's available on Netflix. You have to see it. It's a rom-com.
You've been telling me, and it's on my list. I'm gonna prioritize it.
Exactly.
For
It's
sure.
fine at, I don't know, less than 2 hours. It's sold or presented as a rom-com, but it's not. It's very deep. It's very heavy. It's like Romeo and Juliet version of love affair between a Jewish boy, rich boy from Los Angeles. That's Jonah Hill. His mother is not other than Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who's just,
No.
Elaine. Yeah, Elaine. I love her
Okay,
from
I'm
Seinfeld. Yeah,
sold.
and she's this rich mother who's
The
looking for that
stereotypical
doctor,
Jewish mom.
exactly, for a doctor match with her for her son. So she's bringing him all these dates, and he's falling in love with a black woman. Let me see the name of Lauren London. She's called Amira in the film, which is quite Jewish or Hebrew
Yes,
sounding.
that's yes.
Okay, her father is Eddie Murphy. Amazing, and everything that's everything bursts there.
Explosive, controversial.
Explosive, exactly. And you have to see it because I said Romeo and Juliet because it's the Capulets against Montague, and it seems at
Which it
one
shouldn't
point,
be. It shouldn't be, but sometimes it is.
yeah. So Jonah Hill and his best buddy, she's another Black American woman, and she says at one point, this could never happen. It just can't happen. Jews and not Jews, but white people and black people cannot understand it. You would never understand us. We are the slaves, and you would never understand. There's no way of us feeling equal. And he agrees.
I push back on that, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I mean, if you think about the history of slavery in the United States, a rallying cry for the slaves, among many others, right, was when Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go. And they used Exodus, slavery, as a
in the
metaphor.
narrative.
And I would go one step further. I personally, and this is very controversial, but I no longer identify as white in America. I'm a white passing Ashkenazi Jew, and there's a long story behind that. It's very controversial in itself.
Okay.
The argument of whether Jews are white or not, there's a lot of differing opinions on that. But I no longer identify as white in America. I know that I get a lot of privilege from passing as white, but I'm not white. More than that, I will say that beyond just the historical significance of slavery, I would say there's also a connection to what is forward-looking, because right now, at the very edges of liberal and progressive society, there's a growing understanding that we may need to seriously consider reparations for the descendants of slaves, and also for Native Americans in this country, because they've been pushed out of their land. They've been, trodden upon, and really, of course, to tell slavery completely wrong. And so we need to repair this, not just in words and deeds, but in actual, like, monetary gain that was built on the backs of these people. And as a Jew who's a descendant of Holocaust survivors,
myself as well,
I have, in Israel, we have a very interesting opinion on this that most Americans, by the way, don't share with me and don't even understand this context, because our families, got reparations from Nazi Germany.
Correct.
And of course, my grandmothers, I'm sure yours as well, many people were incredibly opposed.
They were ashamed. Money. They did not want to go.
Blood money, right? They didn't want to take it. Sometimes they didn't take it. One of my grandmothers refused to take it for years until her son got in legal trouble, and then she said, "Okay, not for me, but for my child, I will take
for the future, the next generation."
And this changed the entire course of the country, and changed the entire course of individual families, but also the structure of society. By the way, there's now inequalities in the other direction of people who were not descendants of survivors, people, you know, Mizrahi Jews in Israel who didn't have this history, have less economic status often than Ashkenazi Jews who were descended from the Holocaust. But I would argue no amount of money in the world can fix the horrors of the Holocaust, right?
Yeah.
And no amount of money in the world can fix the horrors of chattel slavery and the genocides of Native American people. However, we now know there's like scientific understanding of how intergenerational transfer of trauma works. And I would argue that money can pay for lots and lots of therapy. And for that reason, I am actually in great
Again,
favor.
the next generations, you mean?
Next
Third
generation.
generation, you, myself.
Next generation, I have zero guilt about paying for therapy through the roof.
Mental health, like we
one of my
discussed last
biggest
time.
expenses, yes. So for that reason, I am actually pro reparations, and it's a very, very unpopular, as of yet.
Yeah, what are the voices in the States? How is it divided?
Oh my gosh. Well, of course, I mean, if you're right wing, you would consider this a left wing conspiracy, etc., etc. But even within the left, the political left, the Democratic Party, reparations are still very fringe. They're very kind of on the edges of the conversation. They're not yet gaining a popular acceptance. So I would say, even just talking about this, right, may blow up in controversy simply by mentioning reparations. But, you know, I am pro reparations for this reason as somebody who's actually experienced.
You know, it's very interesting, that movie that I mentioned, You People, which is an amazing title.
I'm gonna run.
It's really good. So You People, an amazing title, really, really great. They did not mention reparation at all, and they touch everything.
So they missed it.
Year,
but that's because I think it's still so edgy.
Early. Okay.
It's early days, right?
You know, maybe it's gonna be a sequel, and then they will talk more about more controversial interracial blacks, white Jews, anything. Like,
and maybe you and I will
taboos.
make another sequel about anti-Semitism and its connection with racism, right? It's often seen as separate, right? Anti-Semitism is seen as separate from racism, which I actually disagree with.
So you have to watch the film. Jonah Hill deconstructs these narratives, and everything is so, you know, so sensitive there. And you watch it as a rom-com because it's a love story, it's Romeo and Juliet, but the Capulet and the Montagues are just gives you the chills all the time. She's saying that, and I'm like, oh my God, she said that. He says the N-word. She says the, I don't know, the anti-Semitism. It's like,
really? Oh my God.
Just said that.
Okay.
This is your homework for the weekend. This is your to do this.
Very fun homework.
Yes, and heavy and controversial.
And heavy.
Yeah, I'm not spoiling the ending. I just used
Don't you dare.
Or you use DETOXIFY against me and just put You People. Just watch it. Have a great weekend or week, and see you next time.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.